Zero Mile is a Terminus Media production. If you would like to know more about Terminus Media, please head on over to terminusmedia.com. Now, on with your show.
Hi, welcome to Zero Mile, your final stop in Atlanta's geek culture. I'm your host, Kelly McDaniel, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm not a robot.
And I'm not a vampire.
And we are here to bring you the comic news of the week. So let's go ahead and see what pulled into the station. My turn. We're going to start talking about Marvel's Star Wars. They're having a crossover with the main Star Wars comic and then Star Wars Dr. Aphra. It's going to be set in between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And Jason Aaron, who is the writer, did describe it as a true gothic horror story. So there's going to be one issue called The Screaming Citadel. And then it's going to go over in between issues 31 and 32 for Star Wars and issues 7 and 8 for Dr. Aphra. And it looks pretty cool, but they didn't really say anything about it other than gothic horror story. And Luke is involved.
So, gothic horror story as in, I guess, which form of gothic?
I'm feeling probably in the true, in that, era. Gothic era.
I feel like Anakin and Kylo have the emo aspect of goth covered.
Oh, but there's
as far
Luke
as the
involved. This
Star
is
Wars.
Luke. This has nothing to do with Anakin.
I know. I'm just saying, we have the emo goth thing covered, so hopefully with Luke they'll go more classic.
Okay, so goth and emo aren't the same thing.
I was a scene kid personally.
Directions.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking it's more of a true your classic gothic horror story. So it might not necessarily, not everyone's wearing black and death and destruction all the time, but it's.
I want some old school Poe type gothic.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. We'll see. We'll definitely see because it's interesting and it's an interesting take to say gothic horror with Star Wars.
And quote the R2-D2, I can't whistle.
Okay.
All right. And what else in Marvel news, Chris?
We've got the Resurrection line continues. We had 2 more releases this week. We had Weapon X #1 and X-Men Blue #1. So we've got X-Men Blue, which sees the original 5 time-displaced X-Men teaming up with Magneto, who is the official team leader. So they're trying to
What happened to Jean Grey being team leader?
She's the field leader. He's sort of the Professor X, man behind the curtain type.
Jean Grey should run everything.
She's the field leader instead of Cyclops this time, so there's some interesting banter as they adjust to that. Iceman is his usual not serious self, and they have to constantly remind him to use code names. They've heavily hinted that there will be no young Cyclops, young Jean Grey romance because they both know how that ends, and they've decided to maybe pursue different avenues. Angel is still dating X-23. Iceman is dating one of the Inhumans. They met just before the X-Men vs. Inhuman War. His name is Romeo. How original.
How original.
But,
it's almost like they're shoving that down our throats.
Yeah.
It's almost like Iceman's whole change was poorly thought out.
Exactly. Also, there's a short backup story where they introduce another new Wolverine, and it has come down from senior Marvel editorial that the rumors were true and everyone's speculations for the most part were correct. It is Jimmy Hudson, Ultimate Wolverine's son from the Ultimate Universe, who is, art-wise, it looks really similar to his dad. He's got the claws, they're bone, but he can coat them with metal, a la Colossus's weird flesh-to-metal powers, but only on his claws, because Wolverine can't not have metal claws, apparently.
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah.
They're not as cool.
Definitely not as cool.
And a little gross.
They don't have the same cutting and tearing power as
Bone.
But I guess when you have adamantium in your system for so long, it leaches in, you get weird adamantium-based mutant powers because comic books.
Who knows?
As a follow-up
unless
to...
you're Bullseye.
Unless you're Bullseye.
Anyway, follow-up to a story we had last week. Marvel has officially terminated their contract with X-Men Gold artist Ardian Syaf due to his controversial insertion of some politically and bigoted artwork into X-Men Gold #1. They have said his finished art for X-Men Gold 2 and 3 had already been submitted and has been sent off to printing. So I have a feeling they'll probably be going over it with a fine-tooth comb, but he will be the credited artist for those issues. We've got a different art team coming out for issues 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, 8, and 9 will be headed up by Ken Lashley, who had done some fill-in work on the previous Uncanny X-Men series. And then Weapon X #1 dropped this week, so it's sort of the new Hit Squad X-Men book. It's going to be Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike.
Everyone
two
with
people
claws.
who don't belong together.
No.
Yeah, it's basically everybody who had been experimented upon with Weapon X or used adamantium weapons. They'll be adding Warpath into the mix, Domino. So far, the story is there's Sentinels out hunting X-Men again, so Old Man Logan teams up with Sabretooth to go out and try to proactively kill off some threats.
I guess.
So, because that's always worked out well for the X-Men in the past.
Of course. Okay.
And
That
I
makes
guess
sense.
rounding us out is myself with some Image news. Of course, it is their 25th anniversary, so they're of course doing a celebration for it. One of the things that they're doing is they are releasing a new Youngblood series written by Chad Bowers and the artist by Jim Toe. That'll be coming out May 3rd. And also they're going to do a ton of Spawn variant covers, which of course will span their whole entire catalog of comics to celebrate, of course, one of the comics that started it all when it comes to Image Comics.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm super psyched. I love, for all the faults of the Rob Liefeld Extreme Universe, I love Youngblood. I have almost every issue of all the Youngblood stuff that I've been able to get my hands on.
I'm sure you do.
I still have all 7 of the original Image #1s with their coupons for Image 0 intact.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire off my Image one day.
Maybe.
If you ever decide to actually get rid of them.
Yeah, they're probably only worth maybe a quarter a piece. Youngblood #1 was the highest selling independent comic book of its day.
It happens.
But they're worth a quarter?
It's really one of those things. There's just not much of a market for the early. I think Spawn #1. I think is the most valuable of the original Image #1s, and it's worth maybe $10 on the open market.
Maybe.
Heck,
even What If 109 is What If 109? Almost freaked out myself on my Spider-Girl knowledge, but that's well worth $25 to $30 depending on what quality you can find.
Yeah. I was one of those kids back in the speculation boom in the 90s that had the multiple copies of X-Men #1 because one day it would be enough to send me to college.
Yeah, how did that work out for you?
Fairly well, because I got 6 more copies for free in the mail from ordering comic books through some mailer sites. So I now have I think I have 8 copies now.
All right. Well,
one of them is autographed by Stan Lee, though, so that one's
okay.
gonna be
That
worth
is pretty
something
good.
one day.
Where can we find you guys?
Well, you can find me at Zonga Audio on Twitter.
You can find me at Mutant Biscuit on Twitter.
You can find me on Instagram at kmcdaniel28 and on Twitter at girlfridaycause. And if you have any questions or want to give us suggestions for content, please feel free to send us an email at 0mile@terminusmedia.com. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye.